Hello there, how are you doing? I am in a slightly different location today, different backdrop. I am waiting for a parcel to be delivered and I'm currently in my studio where I do all my music stuff, record stuff and prepare things for radio shows. If you've ever heard what is not my day job, a lot of it happens in here, but the parcel is waiting to be delivered. There is some audio gear. Most likely it will come while I'm trying to record this video. Now I'm doing this video just before the Easter holiday here in Hong Kong. Feels like we have holidays all the time. It's starting to get hot here, unfortunately. It was 30 degrees Celsius yesterday, a bit scary with global warming. But I want to talk really about social media. Essentially, this has been inspired by TikTok. Now, if you've been following the news, we have a US presidential election around the corner. It's going to be an important one because we've got very different candidates standing. I mean, it's Biden and Trump again. There's a very authoritarian strong man in the form of Trump who seems to be, well, he seems to be hoping to just make America great again. But there seems to be more, I think it's more making America great for Trump rather than anything else. He misses off the last few lines. Biden standing pretty much on the same Democrat platform that he stood for before, because there's concerns about his age. But the concern now coming out of the presentation from a technology point of view is the concern that Congress is starting to have, well, the legislatures in the US having, about TikTok. So there's calls that TikTok should be banned in the US. There should be no access to it. Now, TikTok, if you don't know what it is, it's a short form social media platform. You create short videos. It's not available here in Hong Kong for whatever reason. You just can't get it, you can't use it. It's not available in mainland China either. They've got their own different version with quite different content. It's a different vibe. It's similar thing, but not the same technology. It's really created by ByteDance, a Chinese-based company for the West. And there's always been concerns that essentially because it's a Chinese originating technology, that it could be used by the Chinese government to spread disinformation. And that's been the big news. And this has been a call around for, essentially Congress is thinking, should we be banning TikTok because it will manipulate elections? And I've been asked so many times what my view is on this. And I get asked, is China manipulating TikTok? Is essentially it an evil product that can be used to influence elections? And my answer might surprise people because frankly, of course it is. It's a social media platform. Any social media platform, anywhere where users can generate content is going to be used by people to spread disinformation and people to get their own way. That's the very nature of human beings. That's the very nature of politics. Politics is about trying to put forward your view of what you think is happening and how you think the world should go. This is how Brexit happened. You had people putting things on the side of buses that were lies. People believed them, and then the UK left the EU, which was great. Well done now. But this is the same. And it's not just TikTok. There's an assumption because TikTok is Chinese owned, or at least ostensibly Chinese owned. It's a little bit more complicated now when you actually look at how it all works together. They assume that must be used to spread disinformation. However, Facebook has been used to spread disinformation. Instagram is used to spread disinformation. Any platform you would use, even emails, let's be honest, even though you don't click on emails from crazy people, that is used to spread disinformation. The problem we've got is not necessarily that we have people trying to manipulate platforms, that platforms are spreading disinformation. It's the fact that it's very easy to spread disinformation, and actually it is impossible to stop people doing that. People have opinions. People have been spreading disinformation, just going down the pub and talking nonsense to each other for years. That's how elections worked long before we had social media. What we don't need is regulation of social media. We need some education, something to make people more aware of what is going on. Don't believe the conspiracy theories, or at least make it more difficult to create, essentially populate content that does spread this disinformation. Now, I take a fairly glib approach to this. I always think, well, people are people are going to do stupid things. It's not the tools that are at fault, it is the individuals. That is true. Problem now is, of course, we've got AI tools. The AI has just passed its AI Act, which is a bit like GDPR for AI. It's got fines that are similar. It tries to regulate the creation of AI content, essentially tries to make sure that automated decisions aren't made around people. It's frameworky in that it's very big. The detail is there, but I think it will be built on over the next 3 years as bits of it come into force. Massive fines for people who misuse AI, which I'm quite interested in. But also, I think some controls in there about how AI can be used to influence people or control people. Because what we're going to see in this US election, and I think in every election until we get something happening in AI which I don't think will happen, there are controls, is there's going to be lots of AI generated content. You already see it. Some of it's complete nonsense and fake. but always people will believe it. You can't stop people falling for something they want to believe. And I don't know how we control that. What I think we need is somehow is to, I mean, perhaps it needs to be started to be taught in schools not to believe everything you read on the internet. I mean, it doesn't sound like a great name for a course, but I think that's the issue we've got. And I don't know how to solve it. I don't think that banning a platform is going to work. If you ban TikTok, if you take the view that, hello, I think that China is using TikTok to spread disinformation, let's ban it. Don't you not think that whoever wants to spread disinformation will just use a different platform? They're all equally available. They're all just as viable. I think it's a massive, what's the word I'm trying to think of? Massive naivety on the people who don't understand tech, thinking that actually it's not the technology that's fault, it is the people. I know that's a bit like saying it's not guns that are a problem, it's people who shoot them at each other, but it kind of makes sense, even though it's a bit ridiculous. So there we go. So what I think we're going to see in the course of the next year is that nothing will happen. They may ban a platform, they may ban TikTok. We will see massive amounts of disinformation happen during the US election. At the end of it, whatever the outcome, whoever wins any election, there'll be a lot of nasal game, a lot of trying to think what went wrong. And then I think we might actually see some move, a more, I suppose depending on how it goes, if it goes badly for someone who's in power, a more controlled move to actually regulate how information is spread on the internet. Now, I'm a big fan of social media. I think it's very useful, but it is a tool. It's one of those things that I don't like the way that it replaces everything, news sources, shopping platforms, the way that people essentially work together, live together, get to know each other. It's kind of frustrating that you all end up in this one place, and it is so much, a lot of voices all screaming out at once, which is how I used to describe Twitter, I think. There we go. But it is an incredibly useful tool, and I think it's adapted so quickly, we've never really understood how to use it. It's the same as newspapers when they're a bit biased. Some have favoured different politics to others, and I always assume everyone understands how that works, but I don't think they do. There are lots of Daily Mail readers, and I don't think they may necessarily understand the agenda that they may have in the UK. So that's it, it's kind of a short form thing. What I think we're going to see, whatever happens with this, is we will see some severe regulation of AI, not necessarily based on the AI Act, but because probably coming from the fact that over the course of the next few months, we will see a lot of AI generated content that's essentially used to influence the elections. And people say, this is the problem, this is wrong. The people who are creating it is the problem. It's not necessarily the content itself. Sure, the content's rubbish, but the people are the ones trying to manipulate it. And then we'll probably see more navel gazing and discussion on what we should do with social media. Should we be banning TikTok? No. Should we make sure that people know how it works and how it essentially wires your brain to like short form videos and maybe have a really short attention span? Yes, we probably should. And I think that's a wider conversation we need to be having quite outside of the law, but really thinking about people's well-being. Anyway, that's while I wait for this parcel, which hasn't been delivered yet. So I'm going to go and try and see where it is, because I've soon got to go and attend some meetings. I hope you have a great Easter, and hopefully I will speak to you very, very soon. I'm going to do a video on the AI Act soon. I need to read more about it and speak to people who are even more knowledgeable than I am on what it actually means, because I don't like the frameworky basis. It feels as comprehensive as the GDPR, but with less clarity as to how it's going to work. But anyway, maybe that will all be in the context of what I've been talking about. Have a good one. I will see you after Easter. And as always, get in touch if you have any questions or any comments. I'll see you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.